الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So in continuing discussing the book Bulugh Al-Maram, and as we had mentioned that before we start covering the actual book of Bulugh Al-Maram, that we will mention certain things regarding an introduction to the book. So of those things that we have mentioned before, and as a quick recap that we have covered concerning that this science or this particular book Bulugh Al-Maram is within a particular branch of the ilm of hadith, and that's relating to what is related to Hadith al-Ahkam. So the ulama of hadith, that amongst them who have written certain books that relates to Hadith al-Ahkam, where these hadith that are gathered mainly concerning how to extract from them Ahkam al-Shar'iyyah. So when we discussed concerning that in that introduction, we had mentioned that many of the ulama have authored in this book on this particular topic of Hadith al-Ahkam, and amongst them that we had mentioned of the more famous of those works, Umdat al-Ahkam, al-Sughra wal-Kubra by Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi, and al-Sughra, that is the more renowned amongst from those two books. Also, there's the book of by Ibn Hajar, as we mentioned, Bulugh Al-Maram, and that will be the book that we'll be studying, and also the book al-Muharrar by Ibn Abdul Hadi al-Hanbali, and also others who have written on this particular topic. So you'll find that many of the ulama, al-Muntaqa, al-Akhbar by Majd al-Din Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. So you'll find that many of the ulama and others who have written on this particular topic regarding Hadith al-Ahkam. So regarding concerning that, so that's concerning that matter, and also we had mentioned that also you'll find that of those things that are attached to this particular topic regarding Hadith al-Ahkam, that one, that those texts that have been gathered regarding Hadith al-Ahkam, then also you have books that relates to these books. Of those books that explain explanation of these books of Hadith al-Ahkam, and also find at times also books of Takhrij. So Hadith al-Ahkam is one of the way regarding studying of fiqh by the ulama. So the method of studying fiqh by either by the way of the books of the Mutun al-Fiqhiyya or by way of Mutun al-Hadithiyya. So Kutub al-Hadith al-Ahkam, that they primarily, and most of the ulama, that they concentrate and mention Hadith al-Nabawiyya. A few at times may add athar from the Salaf in these books of Hadith al-Ahkam, but the vast majority that will only include Hadith al-Nabawiyya. Then also mentioned regarding concerning that of the books of the early writings in Hadith that also centered on this topic of the book of Abu Dawud as-Sijistani, Kitab al-Sunan, also the book of Nasa'i, al-Sughra, also those books of Hadith al-Ahkam. Then also, so as for today, regarding continuing this topic, that also we had covered regarding, as a part of the introduction, regarding matters pertaining to the book Bulugh Al-Maram. So in discussing regarding the works and the efforts of the ulama related specifically to the book Bulugh Al-Maram, that we have mentioned one, those who have done some form of editing and verification of the book Bulugh Al-Maram. I will mention a series of the Talabat al-Ilm who have done so regarding trying to print the book Bulugh Al-Maram in the best way possible. Also of those books that relates to Bulugh Al-Maram, books of Shurahat, those who have explained the book of Bulugh Al-Maram. So amongst them we mention many of the ulama of past and also of contemporary times who have explained the book Bulugh Al-Maram. So we mention the first of those regarding concerning Badr al-Tamam by al-Maghribi, and also of those who have explained Amir al-San'ani, who have explained Bulugh Al-Maram, and others who have done so. So also we mention regarding of the ulama in their efforts related to the book of Bulugh Al-Maram, that also you find of those concerned another, those who have put Bulugh Al-Maram in a form of a poetic form, and amongst those as-San'ani. So Muhammad ibn Ismail Amir al-San'ani rahimahullah, that he put Bulugh Al-Maram in a poetic form, and when he started he reached up to the bab of Kitab al-Talaq, Bab al-Idda, then he passed away rahimahullah. So San'ani, Amir al-San'ani, that he made Bulugh Al-Maram in a form of nadam, in a form of poetic form, but he did not complete it because he died before he completed it. Then one of his students who came and also then completed it regarding concerning this book concerning Bulugh Al-Maram. So that's concerning of those, and his student is Sheikh Al-Hussein Ibn Abdul Qadir, who came and completed the efforts of his teacher San'ani. So those are concerning those of Nazm. And also mentioned that those regarding Bulugh Al-Maram have made takhrij of the book Bulugh Al-Maram. By way of takhrij, that they have studied the ahadith that are mentioned in detail, that are mentioned, all the hadith mentioned that are mentioned in the book Bulugh Al-Maram. And also you find others who have done some other works relating to Bulugh Al-Maram. So many efforts regarding the book Bulugh Al-Maram. So as for today's session, that will continue that discussion regarding the book Bulugh Al-Maram, that will try to cover concerning that, discussing something regarding the life of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalānī, as is the author of the book Bulugh Al-Maram. Then also we'll discuss concerning that the book Bulugh Al-Maram, concerning a general overview of the book Bulugh Al-Maram. And then we go into the next point, would be the muqaddimah of the book Bulugh Al-Maram. So that's concerning what we hope to achieve today regarding, one, discussing about Ibn Hajar. So we are aware of the person who have wrote the book Bulugh Al-Maram, the author of this book. Also, second, discuss concerning the manhaj of the author regarding this book, how we approach the book in general. And also third, that we'll try to discuss the muqaddimah of the book, so which will be the introduction that he mentioned before he started mentioning the hadith. So that's concerning what is intended for today. So starting with the first of those things that relating to the author Ibn Hajar al-Asqalānī, that you find that books, many who have wrote books regarding the life of Ibn Hajar, and some even went into detail. So even his student As-Sakhawi, that he wrote a book that went into a book on the life of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that's in 3 volumes. So one of his students, Sakhawi, that wrote a biography that was very detailed about the life of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalānī, and this book it went into, the book that is in print is in 3 volumes, Jawahir wal-Durr. So he referred to the book Jawahir wal-Durr في ترجمة شيخ الإسلام Ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala. So that's concerning the book of As-Sakhawi rahimahullah. So regarding concerning the life of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalānī rahimahullah. So Ibn Hajar, regarding concerning his name, وَنَسَبُهُ, and also his kunya, that is Shihab ad-Din Abu Fadl. His name Ahmed ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Mahmud ibn Hajar Kannani Asqalānī al-Shafi'i. So that's concerning the name of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalānī rahimahullah. So again, his name is Ahmed ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Mahmud ibn Hajar al-Kannani al-Asqalānī. And so regarding concerning that his name, that is kunya, that is Kanani, as they mentioned, as a part of his name, that goes back to his qabila. So his qabila is Kinana. Also regarding Asqalān, that's the area where his family is originally from. So concerning is a place of his family, that there is usul, his origins is from the area of Asqalān. So he's referred to as al-Asqalānī. And as for Ibn Hajar, regarding concerning him referring as Ibn Hajar, the son of Hajar, concerning Hajar, that they mention that that's the name of one of his grandfathers. So one of his grandfather, that is named, that's referred to as such, or they mention is a laqab that was given to him as. Then as for concerning that, such concerning matters, and he became more renowned regarding as the name or with Ibn Hajar. So he became more renowned as Ibn Hajar. When it is that's what he became more renowned for. As far as mentioned regarding concerning his kunya is Abu Fadl. So Abu Fadl that you refer to, his father gave him such kunya. So his father was the one who gave him the kunya, Abu Fadl, and his father gave him this kunya as a tashbih of one of the Qudat of Mecca. So his father, as a form of his love and respect for particular of the Qudat of Mecca, that his father gave him this kunya of Abu Fadl. Then also Shihab ad-Din as a laqab that is referred to as Shihab ad-Din. So that's concerning things related to his name. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah was Ahmed ibn Ali, in short, al-Asqalānī, and also Shafi'i. As for next, regarding concerning wiladatuhu, as for his birth, that it is mentioned that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he was born on the 22nd of the month of Shaban, the year 773. He was born the year 773, the month of Shaban, and the date was the 22nd of that month of Shaban. And that he was born as a, grew up in Misr, Egypt. So he grew up in Egypt, was born in Egypt. And also that he grew up as a yatim, where it is stated regarding concerning Ibn Hajar rahimahullah that his father passed away at the age when Ibn Hajar rahimahullah was at the age of 4. So at the age of 4, he lost his father, and then after and before this also he lost his mother before this. So he lost both his parents in very early stage of his life. Regarding that he lost his mother first, and then after he lost his father. So within before the age of 4, he lost both his mother and father. Then it is mentioned that to the age of 5, Ibn Khamsa Sinin, at the age of 5, that by then that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he started to attend concerning kutab, concerning the schools concerning writing. So learning how to write and attend concerning that school at that age of 5. Then also Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, it is stated that he memorized the Quran, that he had memorized the Quran by the age of Tasa. So by him being 9, by his 9th year, he had memorized the entire Quran. Then also it mentioned that at the age of 12, that he led the people in Salatul Tarawih in Mecca. So in Mecca, in Haram al-Mekki, that he led the people in Salatul Tarawih, and this was by one of his, by it says al-Wasiyah, by Zakiyuddin Kharubi. So Zakiyuddin Kharubi, that he was the one who was instrumental regarding Ibn Hajar, that was able to lead Salatul Tarawih in Mecca. So it shows regarding that of that age, that taking on that responsibility, and also that age, that it shows concern that Ibn Hajar was very immature person. So that's concerning Ibn Hajar rahimahullah at that age, and by the age, and in his early age, that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he started memorizing various texts. So that's concerning as the traditional way concerning studying of Islam, that at an early age, that they all start to memorize various texts. So regarding concern that in fiqh, that you remember in concern al-Hawi al-Saghir in fiqh, Mukhtasar ibn Hajib, also he wrote al-Umda, so he memorized various texts. So he did them, which are mutun, that is expected a talib at the early stage of their studies, that they would memorize. So he went through this process. So regarding concerning at-Talabat al-Ilm, that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah had memorized and have studied concerning various texts. So studied various texts, and that was the process regarding studying concerning of ilm. So he had also benefited from many of the mashaykh of his time, Then regarding concerning, next regarding his shuyukh, his teachers, there are many. So regarding, they mention regarding that his teachers, that there are many. Some they mention can somewhat break down concerning that of his teachers that he benefit from, regarding those that he benefit from regarding concerning ilm al-hadith. So you have concerning of his teachers that he benefited from regarding ilm al-hadith. We just mentioned a few of them. Of those of his teachers that he benefited from regarding ilm al-hadith, Abdul Rahim ibn Hussein al-Iraqi. So Hafid al-Iraqi, Abdul Rahim ibn Hussein al-Iraqi, that he benefited from him regarding ilm al-hadith, and of his teachers. Also Hafid ibn Abi Bakr al-Haythami. So Hafiz Ali ibn Abi Bakr al-Haythami, that he benefited from regarding ilm al-hadith. Also regarding al-fiqh, that he studied with of the prominent of the fuqaha of that time, which is al-Bulqini. So of them concerning Ibn Malakhin. So of them Ibn Malakhin, as we know concerning that Ibn Malakhin rahimahullah, of those who had authored many books. So he authored many books in various science, in in hadith, and various other science. So Ibn Malakhin rahimahullah, but had many books and work, especially concerning ilm al-hadith. So of those works, so Ibn Malakhin, who is Umar ibn Ali ibn Malakhin. Umar ibn Ali ibn Malakhin, who was known for many works regarding hadith and other topics. Also of his shuyukh that was famous regarding Bulqini. So I'll mention so Bulqini was Umar ibn Raslan Bulqini, as is popular referred to as Bulqini. Some may pronounce it a different way, Bulqini, but what is on the tongue of Moses, Bulqini. Then also of his shuyukh regarding Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Qattan al-Misri. So also of his shuyukh Muhammad regarding fiqh that he benefited from Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Qattan al-Misri, and other that he benefited from Ali ibn Ahmad Adami, are also of his shuyukh in matters in the area of fiqh. Also regarding concerning Lut Arabiya, that he has studied with lights concerning Muhammad ibn Muhammad Ghummari, so Muhammad ibn Muhammad Ghummari. Also Majduddin ibn Muhammad ibn Yaqul Firuzabadi, so Firuzabadi, of those that he also benefited from out of Qamus, and also others. So benefit from certain the ulama regarding concerning in those various fields, and also in Qiraat regarding Al-Quran, and also matters concerning Usul al-Fiqh, that also he studied from some of the ulama in regarding Usul al-Fiqh. So in Usul al-Fiqh, he studied with Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Isa ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr Qahtan al-Misri. So those are his shuyukhs. So many of his shuyukhs, some of his shuyukhs that are mentioned, and that he benefits from them in various science. As for Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, so those are of his shuyukhs. So of the next thing regarding Ibn Hajar is regarding his wadha'if. So regarding concerning different positions and duties that he performed, of those that he held as positions and responsibility that are concerning tadris. So a person regarding of teaching, so tawalla tadris at-tafsir wal-hadith wal-fiqh, so he had taught tafsir, he had taught hadith, also he has taught fiqh in a different madaris. So so he was said to be like a professor, a teacher in these the institutes, Islamic institutes that were established then, and also in the masajid. Also Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, second of those responsibilities he had concerning ifta. So of those also was given responsibility al-munsib al-ifta, that also he was the of those who give fatwa, so passing of fatwa, also qada, also of those who acted as a judge. So also he took the responsibility of a judge, and that he held responsibility of being a judge for over 21 years. So he held the responsibility of being a judge for over 21 years. And also mashayikha, and also that and also khitaba wal imama, so also being the one who gave khutbah and the imam of the masjid. So also Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he held all those responsibilities regarding as a person of ilm, and also matter that relates to the various areas regarding Islamic affairs. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that of those who married and also had children, as some mentioned concerning that of his children, but overall regarding that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, so also of those things that they mentioned regarding concerning that as for that concerning is talamid. So talamidhahu, regarding concerning his students, so all of those who are mentioned amongst his student. So amongst his student, that there are many, but amongst those one that that is mentioned, Ibn Fahd al-Makki, Ibn Fahd al-Makki, one of his students who is Taqiyuddin Muhammad ibn Fahd al-Makki. Also amongst those, Muhammad ibn Sulaiman Kafiji, Muhammad ibn Sulaiman Kafiji, amongst his students. Also Burhanuddin Ibrahim ibn Umar Biqa'i, so also al-Biqa'i, also amongst his students. And also of his student that they mentioned regarding Muhammad ibn Abdul Rahman al-Sakhawi, so Muhammad ibn Abdul Rahman Sakhawi, also amongst his students. And also of his famous students, also Zakaria ibn Muhammad al-Ansari, Zakaria ibn Muhammad al-Ansari, that also referred to as Zakaria, that Sheikh Zakaria as Sheikh al-Islam, also given the title that of Sheikh al-Islam, one of the ulama al-kibar al-Shafi'iyya. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, regarding those of his students, also regarding Ibn Hajar regarding his madhab, so regarding concerning the next matter regarding his madhab al-fiqhi. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, of those who are classed amongst the ulama of the Shafi'iyya. So Ibn Hajar, amongst those who are said regarding fiqh of the madhab al-fiqhiyya that he followed, that he was Shafi'iyya, not muta'assib. So a Shafi'iyya to said to be is madhab. So that's concerning Ibn Hajar rahimahullah tabaraka ta'ala. Also they mention regarding concerning that as for his wafat, as for his time of death, so regarding concerning his time of death, that mention regarding concerning that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that it is stated that he died in Qahira, which concerned that, that died in Misr, mentioned that he died in Misr, and that at the time that he died, that they mentioned وفي ليلة السبت was this on a Saturday, ثامن عشر, the 18th من شهر ذو الحجة, in the month of ذو الحجة, سنة 52 و800, and he died 852 al-Hijri. So in the year 852 al-Hijri, what was the date? The day that year that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he passed away rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala. So that's concerning in brief regarding Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. And I mentioned he died in the city of al-Qahira, in the city of Qahira. That was the year in which he died. So regarding concerning that, as for Ibn Hajar rahimahullah regarding his mu'allafat, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah of those also who have written many books, especially concerning ilm al-hadith. So he have authored many books of books that goes into volumes. Those are mutawassit, middle, a few volumes, and also books are sometimes that are saghir, which are small. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that most of his efforts regarding his works that relates to ilm al-hadith. So that was the year that he specialized, was known to have specialized in, and also became famous of one of the renowned scholars of ilm al-hadith. So he authored many books relating to ilm al-hadith and other science, but ilm al-hadith and its science, that was the majority of his works. So of his works that are famous and well known, and as the people have mentioned, if Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, if you see his name on a book, then the person can to get hold of that book because of the importance and the value of his works. So amongst his works that he has al-Isaba fi Tamyiz al-Sahaba, and this book that it is relating to a book that discuss concerning the Sahaba. So a book that give the life of the Sahaba. So it referred to as Isaba fi Tamyiz al-Sahaba. This book is in print and comes in many volumes. Also of his book that he has Ihtihaf al-Mahara. Ihtihaf al-Mahara. This is also another book in hadith that comes in many volumes. Also has a book that Ta'jil al-Manfa bizawahid al-Rijal al-Immat al-Arba. So regarding concerning that a book also in Rijal. Also he has Taghliq al-Ta'liq. So Taghliq al-Ta'liq is regarding concerning that relates to the book of Sahih Bukhari. Also he has Talkhis al-Habir. Talkhis al-Habir, that is a takhrij of the hadith or a summary of the book Badr al-Munir. So also that's a summary, and that's also a takhrij of a hadith in Rafi al-Kabir. Also he has a book that is called Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. So also the book that goes into many volumes regarding concerning that that book is related to the riwat, the narrators of Kutub al-Sittah. So those narrators in Kutub al-Sittah and some of their related books of those authors, that this book Tahdhib al-Tahdhib, it discussed concerning narrators of Kutub al-Sittah and said to be of those books of Jar wa Ta'dil, of the ulama of latter time. Also he has a book that relates to other books that he referred to as Diraya, a book that is called Diraya fi Talkhis Takhrij Ahadith al-Hidayah. So the book concerning of this is a muqtasar of a book that checks the hadith of Hidayah of the fiqh of Hanafiya. So the book that book is a condensed checking of one of the works of the book Hidayah from amongst the fiqh books of the Hanafiya. Also his famous book that is well known for is Fath al-Bari, which is a Sharh Sahih Bukhari. So Fath al-Bari, Sharh Sahih Bukhari, that is somewhat as mentioned by some of the ulama. So that's concerning some of the ulama, La Hijra Ba'd al-Fath, they mention regard concerns, that Fath al-Bari of those books, that no one can overdone or can overdo what or replace what have been done by Ibn Hajar regarding his explanation of Sahih Bukhari. So also of his works regarding concerning al-Rawat, that he have Lisan al-Mizan. He has also a book called Matali al-Aliyah. So also a book of Matali al-Aliyah, and this book concerns, goes into discussing concerning a hadith that is Zahid from Kutub al-Sittah. And that book also comes in many volumes, close to around 20 or maybe plus volumes, with the tahqiq of Sheikh Shad al-Shitri, and also other books that he has. And also of his book, work concerning Ilm Mustalah, he has An-Nuzha wa Nukhba. So he has An-Nukhbat al-Fikr wa Nusratul Nathar. So these are books also in Mustalah. Also he has the book Al-Nukat ala Ibn Salah. So these books are related to Ilm al-Mustalah. And he has other books, but these are the books. He also has Taqrib that relates to a condensed book regarding Ruwat Kutub Sittah. Very condensed regarding what a general hukum regarding the narrators of Kutub, the narrators of Kutub Sittah. So that's concerning the works of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. And as we mentioned, that the book of his works is the book Bulugh Al-Maram. So the book of his work is the book Bulugh Al-Maram min Adillat al-Ahkam, that relates to the topic concerning Ahadith al-Ahkam. So that's concerning the works of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. So that's concerning that part of this session regarding discussing concerning the author with Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. So at least we are familiar to some degree with the author. And one of the ulama that is well known and established, and his works are very beneficial regarding the science of hadith, and that his contribution was very great. So he made a great contribution regarding ilm al-hadith and that particular science, and also other science. So that's concerning the second of those things that we'll cover. The third point I will cover regarding the manhaj of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. So you find that of some of those, that the general manhaj of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah is summarized a bit in his book. But of those things that Ibn Hajar won, regarding that this book, the book of Ibn Hajar, Bulugh Al-Maram, is a book that covers concerning Ahadith al-Ahkam. So it is specific to matters relating to Ahadith al-Ahkam that would exclude Ahadith of tafsir, Ahadith of manaqib. So those things will not be included. As for the hadith, as for this particular book, that the amount is considered to be a hadith book, that the intent of writing the book is for it to be memorized. So the book, it is intended to be memorized. The amount of hadith that are mentioned in this book, that approximately, according to this print, that it is over 1,577 hadith. So 1,577 hadith is mentioned in this book. And the hadith that they are generally concerned, they're very short regarding their length. So as for the hadith that are mentioned, that they're very short regarding the length of the hadith that he mentioned, as Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he tries to stick mainly in just mention the point of the hadith, that is said the shahid from the hadith, the point. So the main point that is needed from the hadith, that is what he mentioned. So the hadith, so he would shorten certain hadiths and only mention the part of the hadith that is needed as a proof. You only mention the part of the hadith that is needed that is used as a proof, so it can somewhat will shorten the hadith. So as for the abwab that he mentioned, various abwab in this book, and of those abwab, kitab al-tahara, he has kitab al-salah, he has kitab al-janaiz, kitab al-zakat, kitab al-siyam, kitab al-hajj, kitab al-buyu'. Also he has kitab al-nikah, kitab al-talaq. Also kitab al-janayat, kitab al-hudud, kitab al-jihad, kitab al-at'imah, kitab al-ayman wal-nuzur, kitab al-qadha, kitab al-'itq. And then he has the final bab that you could call kitab al-jami'. So the final bab concerning kitab al-jami', and in kitab al-jami', the final chapter or the final book that he include concerning, after discussing concerning things regarding ibadat, and also a hadith regarding mu'amalat, general affairs and matters regarding acts of worship. Then he concluded with the last chapter that he labeled as Kitab al-Jami', where he discussed concerning things regarding al-adab. So he discussed concerning the conduct and the behavior that is expected from the Muslim, and also he mentioned regarding concerning things regarding al-azkar wa dua. So the person who have studied fiqh, of those things that he should beautify himself with, is that the person also that he manifests and shows and display good conduct and good behavior. So he can Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he included this Kitab al-Jami' as a way regarding encouraging, regarding having good conduct, and also caution against conduct that are unappropriate. So that's concerning this book, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that also with the book of Ibn Hajar, that it will mention concerning the sources that the hadith is taken from. So the books as a reference to the main books of hadith. It will mention Kutub al-Sittah and beyond Kutub al-Sittah. So it will mention the 6 books of hadith and also beyond the 6 books of hadith. Also Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, in this that it will mention also in most part, it will mention some hukum upon the hadith. It will mention in brief the hukum upon the hadith. So where the hadith is, the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, then he will not say mention any ruling that is understood and taken for them to be authentic. but also at times he will mention the hadith outside of these books. He will mention the hukm upon the hadith regarding, he will mention that the hadith is sahahu, who have authenticated the book, who have authenticated this hadith. And also at times also he will clarify the hadith is daif. So at times he will passing judgment upon the hadith. So that's the thing that he will do. And at times also he will mention the various wording in brief. He will mention if they're different in wording. At times he would point this out or make this be known. So that's concerning the book of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah in brief. So most of the hadith, they are very short in most part. At times the hadith may be lengthy due to that, but that's that's not the norm. The general norm that the hadith is mentioned, very few wording, short and to the point regarding the point that he wished to convey. So that's concerning this book by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, Bulugh Al-Maram, as a part of the study of the book. So that's concerning that book. As a part of how we study the book, that will one mention the hadith, then we'll have what they call takhrij, a critique of the hadith regarding what have been mentioned by the ulama regarding hadith being authentic or not. Also we'll mention regarding, then we'll go into discuss concerning, explain the hadith by the wordings, and then also try to and also we'll also discuss concerning the sahabi that is mentioned. So something regarding the sahabi that is mentioned, and also we discuss concerning the fawaid, the general benefit that can be taken from the hadith, and also we discuss concerning the ahkam that the hadith is related to. So we discuss concerning the ahkam that this hadith is related to. So that's concerning of those things, or the method of approach regarding how we explain this particular book. That we might use a few different explanation, but we use that general pattern regarding explaining this particular book. And as for today also, that we'll start by reading the muqaddimah. So we start by reading the muqaddimah as mentioned by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, and then we'll add some brief notes regarding what is mentioned regarding the muqaddimah.
Bismillah. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. The introduction for Bulugh Al-Maram. Praises to Allah for His apparent and concealed bounties at all times, and peace and blessings be upon His Prophet and Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family and companions who strove steadfastly in the path of serving Allah's religion, and their followers who inherited the knowledge. For the ulama are the heirs of the prophets. And may they be honoured, whether they be warith, those who inherit, or mahruf, those who are inherited from. To proceed, this is a concise book comprising the hadith evidence, sources of the Sharia law rulings, which I have compiled meticulously so that the one who memorizes it excels among his peers. It may assist the beginner student, and the learned one seeking more knowledge may find it indispensable. I have indicated at the end of every hadith the Imam who collected it, in order to be honest to the Muslim Ummah. Therefore, As-Sabah, the seven, stands for Ahmed, al-Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, al-Nasa'i, al-Tirmidhi, and Ibn Majah. As-Sitta, the six, stands for the rest excluding Ahmed. Al-Khamsa stands for the rest except al-Bukhari and Muslim. Or I may say al-Arba'ah, four, and Ahmed. I mean al-Arba'ah, four, all except the first three, i.e. Ahmed, al-Bukhari, Muslim. And by al-Thalatha, the three, I mean all except the first three and the last one. I mean by al-Muttafaq alayh, the agreed upon, al-Bukhari and Muslim, and I may not mention with them anyone else. And whatever is besides these seven collectors, i.e. is clear, mentioned by name. I've named it, this book, Bulugh Al-Maram, min Adillat al-Ahkam, attainment of the objective, according to the evidence of the ordinances, and I pray to Allah not to render what we have learned a calamity against us, but He may guide us to act according to what pleases Him, the glorified and exalted one.
So that's concerned that author rahimahullah I mentioned regarding this particular introduction, which is somewhat very brief. So of those things that he included in the introduction, which he goes in the introduction, that the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also then he also the salutation upon the Prophet ﷺ, and then also he mentioned regarding concern and also upon the Sahaba, and then also he mentioned regarding concerning that the importance regarding sticking to the ulama, that their responsibility is that they are the ones who are the inheritors of the Prophet. So for the person to acknowledge concerning the efforts of the ulama, and that they are the ones who are the inheritors of the Prophet. So that he choose to remind concerning the Muslim, and for the Muslim to try to benefit from the ulama regarding what they have done in trying to explain Islam and to clarify Islam. Then after that he mentioned regarding Amma Bad, then after he mentioned regarding concerning that the reason behind why he have put this book together. So he mentioned هذا مختصر يشتمل على أصول أدلة الأحاديثية للأحكام الشرعية. So then he mentioned, clarify regarding the reason why he have authored this book. So he mentioned that it is something which is a mukhtasar, something which is somewhat brief. على أصول أدلة الأحاديثية للأحكام الشرعية. So this also of the as we had mentioned before, of those works relating to Ahadith al-Ahkam. So relating to Ahadith al-Ahkam, then the author rahimahullah mentioned that this particular work, that it's amongst that effort regarding putting forth regarding Ahadith al-Ahkam. And Ahkam by way of Ahkam al-Shar'iyya is of two types. So either Ahkam al-Shar'iyya taklifiyya, that would include concerning wajib, mandub, mubah, al-haram wal-makruh. So these are ahkam al-taklifiyya al-khamsa. Something being wajib or slash fard, something being said to be mandub or sunnah, mustahab, liked, something which is mubah, something which is allowed, something which is makruh, something which is disliked, and the fifth being something which is haram. So those are the ahkam al-taklifiyya. Then also you have ahkam al-shar'iyya, that is called al-wad'iyya. So these are concerning al-wad'iyya, concerning signs of something. So matter regarding al-fasad was-sihha and others will be included in this. Then he mentioned regarding concerning to know that his efforts regarding that mention sir fi hifdhihi min bain aqranihi. So this book is as mentioned here also, he can somewhat clarify that the intent is for this book to be memorized. It is mentioned by some of the ulama that when he put this book together, that one of those who mentioned that it was something that was asked, so he put it together so the people can memorize, so the Tulab al-Ilm can memorize this book. So based upon something was asked of him, and he put this book together so as to be memorized. The second view is that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that when he put this book together, it was based upon that he did it for his son. So he had a son, Muhammad, that he loved very much, and he was a Talib al-Ilm, and he wanted to put together a book that his son could memorize. So he put this book together, which is Bulugh Al-Maram. But I mentioned that his son did not memorize the book, but the father wrote the book with the intention that his son will memorize this book. Wallahu a'lam. But others of those things that are mentioned regarding why this book was put together. Then also they mentioned that, as they mentioned, يستعين به طالب المبتدئ. So the person is a beginner, and also لا يستغني عنه الراغب المنتهي. And also this book can be benefit from the Muslim regardless of his level. For the beginners, so this book is suitable for a beginner to memorize and to study with a teacher, taking him through the points, and also for the person of muntahi, the person of reached an advanced level, that also those people can benefit from this book. So I intend to be benefit from the people of the highest level, high level of their studies, advanced level of their studies, and also people who are in their beginning level of studies. So then he mentioned regarding concern to his method regarding that, also that he would also reference back regarding the source of this hadith as a matter of the amana, of that level of trust that he wants to place in art, regarding concern that the hadith being referenced back to his original sources. Then he mentioned that he has certain terminology that he uses, so you have certain specific terminology that he uses, but he mentioned regarding that it relates to Kutub al-Sitta. Then he mentioned of those books that he highlight, or Murad bil-Sab'a. So you have al-Sab'a, what is intended when he use the word al-Sab'a, what he meant by this, Ahmed in his Musnad. So regarding concerning al-Sab'a, he first concerning, so in general he mentioned Ahmed, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah. So these are kutub that he referred to as al-Sab'a. Ahmed, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, and Ibn Majah. So these are concerns of the more, as they refer to these books are concerned of the Ummahat al-Kutub al-Hadith. So these are Ummahat Kutub Hadith. So these are some of the primary books of Hadith. So these are some of the primary books of Hadith, and they refer to as as-sab'a. So as he mentioned, the first of those books that of Hadith, and he mentioned by name of the author, but in reference to the book. So even though he mentioned names of the author, but these are the ones who have collected specific books in Hadith. So regarding concerning of those that he had mentioned, regarding concerning that, he mentioned Ahmed, rahimahullah, that Ahmed, we intend by Ahmed, wa Imam Abi Abdullah, Ahmed ibn Hanbal al-Shaybani, Ahmed ibn Muhammad ibn Hanbal al-Shaybani, al-Marwazi, thumma Baghdadi, and he is the author of the book Al-Musnad. So he's the author of many books, but the book that is intended here is his book Al-Musnad. So he has a large collection, and this book is called Musnad, where this the book of Musnad, where the books are put in a order or organized in an order where under each Sahabi. So you mention a Sahabi and then mention all the hadith that he have or wish to state regarding that particular Sahaba. So and he starts with Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, then go to other of the Sahaba, but he will mention each Sahabi and then mention all the hadith that under his name that he wished to mention. So that's concerning Ahmed ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, and referred to as Imam al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and he died the year 241. Ahmed ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, he died 241 al-Hijri. Second of those he mentioned concerning Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah. So he mentioned al-Bukhari, and in Bukhari rahimahullah is Imam Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail ibn Ibrahim al-Mughira al-Bukhari. So Muhammad, so it's Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail ibn Ibrahim ibn al-Mughira al-Bukhari. And Bukhari rahimahullah, that also of those who have many works. So you have Imam Bukhari rahimahullah have several works regarding that he has done. Of those works regarding concerning books in Aqidah. Also Imam Bukhari rahimahullah concerning what is called Khalq Af'adul Ibad. It's a book in Aqidah. Also he has a book concerning al-adab in general that referred to as Khalq. That book is also Adab al-Mufrad. So al-Adab al-Mufrad by Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. And also he has books also in Riwat. So he also has a book in Riwat. So Imam Bukhari, he has At-Tariq al-Khabir and other books in Riwat. And also he has a book that is more famous, that is referred to now as referred to as Sahih Bukhari. That a book that is referred to as Sahih al-Bukhari. But as for the name of that book, they said al-Ism al-Haqiqi, it is not referred to as Sahih Bukhari, but it is known as such. So as for the name of Sahih Bukhari, that book, that it is Al-Jami' Al-Musnad Al-Sahih Al-Muqtasar min Umuri Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam wa sunanihi wa ayyami. That's the name of the book. That's the name of the book, so the proper name of the book, the rightful name of the book. Al-Jami' Al-Musnad Al-Sahih Al-Muqtasar min Umuri Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam wa sunanihi wa ayyami. That's the name of Sahih al-Bukhari by Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala. Also regarding concerning that Imam Bukhari, also that Imam al-Muslim, so next he mentioned concerning that Imam al-Muslim rahimahullah. So Imam Muslim rahimahullah also put that he mentioned al-Muslim, and also that Imam al-Muslim rahimahullah, that who is Muslim ibn Hajjaj ibn Muslim al-Naysaburi. Muslim ibn al-Hajjaj ibn Muslim al-Naysaburi. And also that Imam Muslim rahimahullah also have several works related to Ilm al-Hadith, and amongst his famous concerning that referred al-Musnad as-Sahih. So you have concern also that the name of Imam Muslim work is not Sahih Muslim, but you have a discussion between the ulama as for the name of Imam Muslim, but the al-Musnad or al-Jami' al-Musnad, as some refer to it as, and also other name that it is referred to, but you have the proper name is not Sahih Muslim. Then also you have the other concern that Imam Abu Dawud, So also you have Imam Abu Dawood rahimahullah. So the name of Muslim, Al-Musnad, the work of Imam Muslim, that Al-Musnad or Al-Jami, Al-Musnad, that's of the name that is given, but there's the more proper name, but inshallah in the next session that we'll mention the full name of the title of the book of Imam Muslim rahimahullah. Then also you mentioned Abu Dawood, meaning concerning that, Sunan Abu Dawood. So also Imam Dawood rahimahullah, that he wrote the book As-Sunan. So the first two that are referred to as Al-Jami', that those are the books of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, and those books that they refer to as Jawami' or Jami' by way of they include all the different Aqsam al-Hadith. So those books that they would include all the different areas of Hadith studies that would include Aqidah. So the book that referred to as Jawami' is because those books they include the topic of Aqidah, the topic of Ahkam, the topic concerning also regarding At-Tafsir, also so Aqidah, Ahkam, Tafsir, Manaqib, Adab, Al-Fitan, and also Raqa'iq. So these will be of the topics, all those topics will be included in such books. So they are referred to as Jawami', as they include all those topics that are mentioned. Also, so Al-Bukhari al-Muslim is of that type of books where all those topics are covered within their books. The next book that he discussed, which is Abu Dawood, which is meaning concerning Sunan Abu Dawood. So that's and the author of is concerned that is Imam Sulaiman ibn Ash'ath as-Sijistani. Sulaiman ibn Ash'ath as-Sijistani, and his book that is known as Sunan as-Sunan. His book is known as Sunan. With ulama have mentioned regarding that book, regarding that it's a book that a person who wants to be a faqih, that he should study that book of Sunan Abu Dawood. Study that book in depth, the work of Imam Abu Dawood as-Sunan. The next that he mentioned At-Tirmidhi of Kutub Sab'a, At-Tirmidhi. So At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah was Imam Abu Isa Muhammad ibn Isa Surah At-Tirmidhi. So Muhammad ibn Isa ibn Surah At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, and his book is referred to as Al-Jami'. So a discussion between the ulama as to what is this book is classed under which type of books of hadith, but and also what the book has been named, which is Al-Jami'. So the book is concerning of those books regarding Al-Jawami', that is written by Imam At-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, that includes Ahkam and also other things. Al-Klum includes Ahkam and also other topics. Then next, as being the sixth of the seventh, that he mentioned An-Nasa'i. So An-Nasa'i rahimahullah was Imam Abu Abdurrahman Ahmad ibn Shuhaib ibn Ali An-Nasa'i. So his name, Imam An-Nasa'i, Ahmad ibn Shuhaib ibn Ali An-Nasa'i rahimahullah ta'ala, and he's Sahib al-Sunan. So his book is called As-Sunan, but also it is called Al-Mujtaba. So the name of the book is Al-Mujtaba. So that's concerning the work of Imam An-Nasa'i rahimahullah, and Imam Nasa'i rahimahullah, that he has two books, As-Sugra wal-Kubra. He has As-Sugra, that is called Al-Mujtaba, and also Al-Kubra, which is the larger book regarding As-Sunan. Then also you have Ibn Majah, which is the last of the 7 books. So the book of Ibn Majah, also classed among the books of the Sunan, that mainly concentrate regarding matters concerning Ahkam. So of those works, as for the author, his name is Imam Abi Abdullah Muhammad ibn Yazid ibn Abdullah ibn Majah. So it's Muhammad ibn Yazid ibn Abdullah ibn Majah rahimahullah tabaraka ta'ala. So that's concerning A'immat, regarding concerning that those A'imma that are said to be Kutub As-Sab'a. Then he mentioned also you have others regarding Kutub As-Sitta, Muttafaqun alayh. So also have certain terms that he used. So he can somewhat clarify regarding these terminologies that I'll be using in this book. Then it applies. Then apply them according to how I have explained. So regarding concerning that, as we mentioned, that these are Kutub, they refer to, except for Ahmad al-Hanbal, they refer to as Kutub Sitta. that they refer to as Kutub al-Sitta. So also of those benefits regarding Kutub al-Sitta. So Kutub al-Sitta would be Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abi Dawud, Al-Jami' Al-Tirmidhi, Al-Sunan Nasa'i, and also last Sunan Ibn Majah. These are Kutub al-Sitta. So as for them, so that's the normal order that they will be mentioned in. So in most part, when the ulama of hadith, when they mention them, that they'll mention in this order: Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abi Dawud, Jami' al-Tirmidhi, Sunan Nasa'i, and also lastly Sunan Ibn Majah. So that order will be the way that they will be mentioned by the ulama of hadith in most part. Also of the ulama, that if they were to look concerned of the thing that they evaluating these books, that they'll look at them regarding their level of quwwah. So in evaluating the books, these 6 books of hadith, regarding their level of strength, regarding the level of the authenticity of the hadith that are mentioned in these books. So regarding concerning the level of strength of the hadith that are mentioned in these books, so they mention that they'll follow in this tartib. So the following, they'll follow in the order of the strongest of those books regarding authenticity will be Sahih Bukhari. The more reliable will be Sahih Bukhari. The second, Sahih Muslim. The third would be Sunan An-Nasa'i regarding the strength. So Nasa'i will come after Sahihain, and some mention it is close to Sahih Muslim regarding its condition. And also that the next in line would be Sunan Abi Dawud, then Jami' al-Tirmidhi, then last Ibn Majah. So regarding their level of strength, regarding their level of authenticity, as for the hadith that are mentioned in their book, Bukhari would be first, next Sahih Muslim, next Sunan An-Nasa'i, fourth Sunan Abi Dawud, fifth Jami' al-Tirmidhi, and sixth Sunan Ibn Majah. So that's concerning the level of strength. As for the last of those things regarding the level regarding their wafayat, regarding their time of death. So regarding the order of those books regarding time of death, we have concerning Sahih al-Bukhari, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, that he died 256. Next, Sahih Muslim, Imam Muslim rahimahullah, he died 261 or 267, or sorry, 261, Imam Muslim 261. Then we have next in line would be Sunan of Ibn Majah. So Ibn Majah rahimahullah, that he died 273. Ibn Majah he died 273. Imam Abu Dawud, that he died 275. Imam At-Tirmidhi, he died 278. And finally, An-Nasa'i rahimahullah was the last amongst them to die, that he died at 303. He died 303. So that's concerning in the order of wafayat, of their deaths. So that's concerning Kutub al-Sitta. So regarding concerns, that's concerning those matters that he mentions. So that's concerning in brief regarding those matters that he mentioned. And then he asked concerning that he mentioned the title of the book, that he have named the book. سميته Bulugh Al-Maram min Adillat al-Ahkam. And then he make a dua that we also, of those things that we are able, for those who have studied this book and memorized this book, that they're able to act according to this book. So that's concerning that, and that's the ultimate concern in a way which is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's concerning the author reminding us regarding the study of the books of Islam and the books of Ahkam, Adillat al-Ahkam, that the purpose and the intent and the aim is for the one to study these books and to act according to them. So is ilm coupled with the person acting and practicing what he has learned. So ilm, then the person act according to what he has learned. As mentioned by Imam Bukhari, al-ilm qabla al-qawl wal-amal, that knowledge precede actions and speech. So the Muslim, that he studies so as he can act according to what he has learned. So that's concerning the author rahimahullah, remind us regarding that we take this in, that we're very clear, we bear this in mind, that it's about knowing and also about acting according to what one has learned. So that's concerning that with this book. The author also, you mentioned other of the books of the Sunan, other books of Hadith, those books he'll mention the author and their books, and those things will be covered accordingly. So that's concerning of this introduction regarding concerning what he has mentioned regarding this book, Bulugh Maram, that we're intending bi'idhnillahi ta'ala to study this book. So as we mentioned that in these introductions, we have gone through several different points relating to this field of study, which is Hadith al-Ahkam, and some of the works on that field. We mentioned some. There's many others that were not mentioned, but we only mentioned some. Also, we mentioned regarding concerning the book Bulugh Maram and the different efforts that have been done around this book regarding printing the book and editing the book, regarding explaining the book, regarding concerning takhrij of the book, the hadith in the book, regarding of those who have made nazam, those who have made poetry, those who have tried to combine between it and other books. So you find many works have been done regarding the book Bulugh Maram. And those who have even made ikhtisar, those who have even condensed the book of Ibn Hajar. So you find many works have been done around the book of Ibn Hajar, but also it shows regarding that the level of importance that the ulama have placed on this book. So this is the reason why we have chosen this book, because of all those efforts that we have mentioned by Talabat al-Ilm wal-Mashaykh regarding the book Bulugh Maram. So of those books, is highly encouraged to be studied and to be memorized. So we are taking that wasiyah from the ulama regarding of this is to try to memorize and also to study this book of Bulugh Maram. So we'll be embarked upon this in the next session regarding that. We have two sessions. One session that first that we'll start explaining from the first chapter of this book, which is Kitab al-Tahara. So starting first, or Kitab al-Miyah. So starting from the first chapter of the book, which deal concern things of ibadah. Then the second sitting will be discussing from Kitab, from the other half of the book, which will be matter regarding mu'amalat. So matter regarding mu'amalat. So we'll also be discussing, so after he completed concerning the bab of Hajj, regarding the last of those things regarding ibadat. So after completing Ibn Hajar, Kitab al-Hajj, then he went regarding Kitab al-Buyu. So discussing concerns to us, we'll be starting from the first chapter of this book, that is Kitab al-Tahara, where he discussed concerning Bab al-Miyah. So the first chapter will be Tahara, one session regarding from the start of the book, and the second from the middle of the book till the end. So from the middle of the book will be the session, the second lesson will be, or session will be from the middle of the book, which will start with Kitab al-Buyu, and we study from there. So that's concerning the method of studying the book, where a person can have that balance, knowing concerning matters regarding ibadat, and also knowing concerning mu'amalat. And of those buyu, bab of nikah, divorce, and other things that are covered in those topics. So that's concerning the method that we'll be studying the book. وَبِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى تَوْفِيقٌ وَهَادِي إِلَى السَّبِيلِ وَالْآخِرَ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.